because a lot of people confuse the fundraising round and stuff. They do not know when to start, when to raise fund, and when they actually need, and how an entrepreneur will actually know that they need to raise fund.
I think that, how do you know if you need to raise funds? If you ask this, then you need to raise funds. This is the answer.
Welcome to Strugbits Unplugged. Today I had the opportunity to speak with Moshe Cohen, CEO of Zippor Media and a pioneer in ad tech and cryptocurrency. From innovating video ads to tackling crypto volatility with CVI, Moshe's journey is all about innovation. So let's dive into his story. Thank you very much for joining in, Moshe.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm
How
looking
are
forward
you?
to it.
Same here, same here. I have been all day, all night excited for this.
Yeah, me too. I'm very well, thank you. It's all good. All good.
Amazing. All right, Moshe, let's start talking about. I have a lot of questions, by the way, but we're gonna go step by step. So let's start with Zippor, and I wanted to know how did Zippor start, and what was your first big success in ad tech?
So Zippor started while I was during my university studies. I started to I took computer science at the university, and then during my studies, I got connected to my other co-founder. We were working together on another company, and then we realized that there is a gap in the ad tech industry, that if you solve the gap, then you can really be successful and make money. And this is how we started with the idea of solving this gap, which later became somewhat the way that we were building businesses, finding some business failures or gaps, and then filling those gaps with solutions that we created. So we started Zippor. I was still studying because I was still under the conception that, if I have a degree, then I have work later, and I can I can really become independent financially on the go. So I was still holding my studies. And then we started a company, and the idea was that back then, it was more than 10 years ago, I think it was like 12 or 13 years ago, the video advertising has just started in the ad tech space. And advertisers were shifting some of their budgets from traditional banners to video advertisements. It was first the luxury of bigger brands, bigger companies, because video production was so expensive. But then there was a shift, right, from first on the digital space, from regular banners to video, but later on it came also from the television, the regular television budgets, into the video space. The problem was that there wasn't place to advertise those videos back then. Most of the video content that you saw online was YouTube. And then if you're an advertiser, then you had one main solution, which is advertise on YouTube, but it was so expensive because YouTube was charging 50, 80, whatever dollar CPMs, and there were no alternatives. And we thought that if we take a regular banner space and inject a video player into the regular banner space, then we can create new inventory that wasn't exist earlier. And this is what we did. We basically bought a regular banner space. We injected an HTML5 player into this banner space, and we played a video on the regular banner space. And it was amazing because the price of advertising a video ad was very expensive. and banners were, was pretty common. So people were paying less on that. So the margins were amazing. Like we could really, there was a lot of potential, and we could really grow. And we started doing it on mobile. There were other companies doing it as well, especially here in Israel. The innovation in the ad tech space was really great. And we grew very rapidly, from my co-founder and myself to 50 employees. Down the road, from a company that is not making any money to $50 million a year. And I think that this was the first success I had as an entrepreneur. And then, I realized what it takes and what do you need to do in order to really grow yourself as an individual, like financially and obviously from the emotion side of things, because I really felt connected to this journey, like finding a problem, finding a solution, then, growing the baby to the phase where it's like giving value to others and really making money out of it, and then growing the company. The company is like an organism, and you fill it up with people, and you have the culture, and you have everything. And after Zippor, I've built a lot of different companies. Some of them were successful, and the others were not that successful. And each of the companies had a completely different culture, even though that we were the same founders, the same entrepreneurs. Each of the companies was completely different.
So the companies which you founded later on, did you found them with the same founders or with different partners?
Yeah, I mean, some of the cases it was the same founders. In others, we had different mixes. It was really dependent on the case, like in terms of the technology and the experience that was required to build the company. At the beginning, the expansion of building more companies was more of a global expansion. Like we were highly concentrated on the U.S. market. This was the biggest market for us. And the second company that we founded was doing the same thing with the same technology that we developed, but on the Latin America market, which was also growing massively. So it was more of a geographical expansion rather than building other companies. But the appetite was big for creation, for building stuff. And then we quickly built more companies that were doing different stuff, like not the same thing, not the same technology. And so we needed different partners.
Okay, I got it. And I never knew that you have studied computer science, because I have studied computer science as well, and I have studied computer science, but I'm not that good engineer as my other partner is, and I get this feeling from you as well. I believe I was always more of a marketing and business side person, and I still remember when I used to sit and actually most of the university people used to think I am a student of a business rather than a computer science, because I used to be in extracurricular activities. I used to do public speaking. I used to arrange events and stuff. So one day I was sitting in a computer class, and I was trying to write a code, and few people were just walking outside, and they came inside the class like, "What are you doing over here?" I said, "I am studying. This is my class." "You are a computer science student? We do not believe you. We thought you were a business student." So, a lot of people think that computer science students, cannot run businesses. They are not business-minded people. But I think sometimes people are like us as well. So just to let you go a bit more of your university time, what made you choose computer science? Like, why you chose it?
I mean, just to put it on the table, I didn't finish my studies because we started a company and we quickly grew, and I had to travel so many times to conferences, and especially to the US. And then I was I mean, I kept missing exams and failed a lot because I wasn't there. So I decided to pause my studies. Um, I I mean, from the day I remember myself, I always liked technology and innovation. Like, it was an excitement for me, like to see a computer. I was playing computer games, and I mean, I was stunned by how amazing it is. Like, it's a whole world, like, and it connects you with so many things, like the ability to from a laptop, your ability to do so many things as a human being. I mean, it always stunned me. And I think that I mean, at some point during my regular school, I chose to study computers as well, and I was programming a little bit in a very basic level, and I liked it. I mean, the logics and the logics behind it, and also the creation, like building a code, and and then you have a software or an app, and you can do stuff. The app does stuff. Like, it really attracted me. But I I can really relate to what you said. I think that during my studies there were a lot of people that were so much better at coding than me, and I knew that, I mean, I can be successful in being an engineer or a CTO, and it's definitely a journey that I can take. But I felt that my heart is in a different place. Like, I think that I was always on the gap between, like, being a CEO and some sort of a CTO, always on this gap. I always understood technologies. I was always able to talk with engineers, with my employees and everything about their developments and stuff. Like, I'm not a kind of a CEO or a founder that was detached from this side of things. Like, okay, you do your magic and just give me that software. Okay, it takes you 3 months, fine. Like, I can really get into the deeds of everything and understand what they're talking about and their challenges, and it helped me as a co-founder. But my passion was definitely the creation and stuff. My passion was definitely on the other side of things. Like, get me the product, let's talk about the product, but not writing the code necessarily.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Some say marketing is manipulative. What's your perspective on this?
I think it's true in some sense, because you have to get a message in to people in a way that will get them excited about it or thinking about it. So you have to work with some manipulations. I mean, if you go very straightforward, like, yeah, we have new shoes and we sell it. If you want to buy new shoes, then click here. No one will buy it, right? But if you see Nike, right? They advertise their brand as something very powerful. Like, you want to be wearing Nike because you will be powerful and you can just do it, right? So yeah, branding and brand messaging and marketing in general, they have to use some manipulation. I think that if you take it to the bad context, then obviously there are some advertisers that are less legit, and they do manipulation on bad stuff, like I don't know, tobacco companies and others that might be bad influential on people. But in general, this is how the world works.
Okay. Just to think about in support, do you guys have any kind of policies in support that what kind of ads would run and what kinds of ad would not run, or stuff like that, or about the authenticity of the ads or something?
So we were always, like, working with certain verification tools. There were always verification tools in place for Zippor, because you work with publishers and you work with advertisers. So publishers, they want to make sure that the ads that you're serving are legit, and that you're not serving anything that might be harmful or might,
Scam
get
or something.
people. Yeah. So we work with third-party tools to scan that. And then from the other side, you have advertisers, and they want to make sure that the people are actually seeing the ads and there are no bots and invalid traffic and things like that. So yeah, it's mandatory today. I think the space has so evolved over the years. When we just started, no one knew what invalid traffic is, no one paid attention to it. Also from the other side, no one talked about malicious ads and things like that. But over the years, it became standard. Like if you are a company that works, and for instance, we work directly with Google. We are an MCA partner of Google at Zippor. So you have to work with validation tools and verification tools. Otherwise, they'll kick you out.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That very interesting, actually. And just to let you know, do not worry of giving a long answers, because Harrison gonna loves it. He loves the guest who speak a lot, because he says my editors then can make the content out of it. So he's always like, bring the guest who speaks a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so Moshe, let's talk about cryptocurrency and CVI. What got you interested in cryptocurrencies, and was there a specific moment or experience?
So I think I really felt that the ad tech industry is becoming heavier and more concentrated, and a lot of the budgets are still going to the big corporates. It was always the case, but I think that it became a space with a lot of regulations and a lot of standards, and it's much harder to move around, and also like it's been through a lot of innovation. I think that that for me as an entrepreneur, it's important to always move and find yourself in positions where you can actually bring value and innovate.
Agree.
And I felt that the crypto space was definitely a space that was interesting for me. I thought, like, when I got connected to it and I really understood what's behind the crypto, then I had a moment when I felt like this is definitely the future. This is the future. Like it must be. Like it must be, and history is being made right now, and I want to be part of it. I want to be on the pitch. I want to be innovating and building stuff in an industry which I think will be the future. And this is that just I took one day the decision to stop doing everything I do on ad tech. Like I keep consulting, I keep being active in the companies, but I took most of my forces into the crypto space.
Amazing. And when you took decision, which year was this?
It was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a boom in crypto at that time. I remember. 3
Yeah,
years ago.
and the crash.
Yeah, and the crash. I
And
lost
the
a lot of
crash.
money. I remember it.
You're
That's
not the
why.
only one. You're
Actually,
not the only one.
it leads to the another question, that how do you balance creativity and practicality?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think that I just have this ability to do that. And as I said, I think that the people around you are the most important asset that you have. This is what actually, I mean, help businesses grow and succeed. So I always try to bring these people that they ask questions and they say what they feel. They are not just yes men. So I always try to bring this kind of people around me, to work with them, and I always work in a very flat mode. Like I'm not a very high level founder that sits there in their office and you can hardly approach. I think that I manage somehow to let them feel that they are co-founders, and I think that this is true in a lot of the cases. They're even in just the feeling they're co-founders. They really design and help you grow, help the company grow from the initial stages. So they are, and they need to feel like that.
Amazing, amazing. A lot of young founders must be listening to us, and we have a community of very young founders who do not know much about fundraising and stuff. So could you briefly explain them how it works, how it, because a lot of people confuse the fundraising round and stuff. They do not know when to start, when to raise fund, and when they actually need, and how an entrepreneur will actually know that they need to raise fund. So could you briefly tell that?
I think that I mean, how do you know if you need to raise funds? If you ask this, then you need to raise funds. This is the answer. The idea of raising funds can help you accelerate stuff, but also can get you on your feet, because I think it's very hard to succeed otherwise. You need to always take care of the financial side, right? You want to hire employees, you need to make money. If you finance the company from your own pocket, then sometimes you lose, sometimes you gain. You're into this rat race of the cash flow. It's also the same case when you raise funds, because you raise funds and then you're still not making money. You need to concentrate on the other round, right? To keep sustaining the company. And a lot of founders I know which sold their companies, I mean, in a lot of the cases there are two. One concentrate on just fundraising, and the other is managing the company. It's like a full-time job. And sometimes you raise the initial funds and you grow fast and you don't need to keep raising funds, and your company is successful. So there are so many cases. But for the younger entrepreneurs, they're not aware, or they don't have the knowledge about fundraising. To keep it very simple and short, usually how it works, I mean, there are so many variations, but you can start raising funds from friends, families, angels, investors, like smaller amounts, let's say up to 500K as an initial step. And usually it is being done through a safe process, which means that there is no valuation. There is no actual valuation to the company. But people are putting their funds because they know you will get to another round. And the other round, you will get a valuation to the company, and they will get a discount price, on their fundraise. So safe is usually a very easy round to do, because you go to people, they have money and they want to invest in new venture startups.
When you
with
say
high risk, high
safe,
reward.
is it pre-seed or pre-seed is different?
Yeah, it's pre-seed. It's before seed.
Okay.
And then seed round is usually the round after. And seed round has valuation, and if they invest in your company, they get equity. And also if you did a safe round, then you get equity partners from the safe and from the seed round. Then usually between safe and seed, the milestones are they might not be very big. But usually if you want to get from seed to round A, then you need to show growth. You need to convince investors that you're on track, right? Because on seed round, you're usually with something very initial. You probably don't have users if it's a consumer's app, or businesses, or if it's a SaaS or whatever. You don't have a lot of revenues. You have pretty much just a dream and a team that people believe in. And usually from seed to round A, they want to see some growth, or something like the dream is still valid.
Yeah.
So usually I don't know if like you guys are building something that they believe will change the world, or you're on track with numbers and they see that your growth is valid, that you can then go to round A. And then there are like the rest of the rounds following round B and whatever. It depends on the company and their needs. But I guess that if you're a young entrepreneur and you completed seed round and you brought yourself to round A, then you already know what you're doing and you will keep doing that. You don't need my advice.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Moshe, for your time. I really enjoyed having a conversation with you. How did you ended up on your first client?
Well, I think there was one of my clients who I still do a bit of work for now. He'd heard that I'd left